So first of all, before we start, I would really like to thank you each and everyone present over here for taking out your time and coming over here. Thank you so much everyone. Dil se dhanyawad sabko. So before we start, everyone knows about the company, right? But I would like to give you a small introduction, a small idea about the company. So KühlTherm is an advanced precision liquid cooling technology company building thermal management solutions for high performance computing environments. The company offers patent and direct to chip cooling, rear door heat exchangers, immersion cooling systems, coolant distribution units, and Nexus Flow OS. Its proprietary cooling intelligence platform. KühlTherm's solutions are designed to support high density AI workloads, reduce cooling energy consumption, and improve data center sustainability through modular, retrofit ready, and software LED liquid cooling infrastructure. So it feels immense pleasure of everyone coming over here. Thank you so much once again. And now next we have amazing and fantastic leadership team. Let me introduce them and let's welcome them on stage. Everyone please put your hands together and let's welcome Mr. Shailesh Bishnoi, our co-founder and CEO. Welcome sir. Next I would like to invite Dr. Jasvipul Chawla, our CTO. Welcome sir. Please give a huge round of applause. Mr. Vishant Gandhi, our CIO. Welcome sir. Please give a huge round of applause. Mr. Kishan Baravdia, COO. Welcome sir. Please give a huge round of applause. Mr. Kamesh Kacharia, CPO. Welcome sir. Please give a huge round of applause. And Mr. Chaitanya Tamhankar, our CMO. Welcome sir. Please give a huge round of applause for our great leadership team, the backbone of the company. So now, Shailesh sir will take over the stage for vision, mission and changing landscape of data center cooling of KühlTherm.
Thank you.
Thank you sir.
First of all, Jai Shri Krishna in Gujarat and welcome in English. And वेलकम टू सुप्रारंभ. स्वागत आप सबका. एक छोटी सी शुरुआत और आज का आप लोगों का पार्टिसिपेशन देख के तो मुझे लग रहा है कि आई एम ओवरवेल्म्ड, नो वर्ड्स. थैंक यू ऑल फॉर मेकिंग इट. थैंक यू, रियली अप्रिशिएट. So we've already introduced our team, very small team. All of us came together in Ola, and now this is a new journey which 4 out of 5, sorry, not all, and few of the recent joinees like Chaitanya. So thank you all for joining in this endeavor and this tough journey of a startup. Thank you all. As a vision, we want to partner and have the ownership of the thermal problems that our customers, ODMs, OEMs or chip makers have. With that vision, we are trying to engineer solutions which will have inbuilt reliability, highest compute efficiency at lowest cost of cooling. This is our vision to be. As a mission, since the data center infrastructure would be ready to take cooling products, liquid cooling products, mid to end of 2027. By then we intend to establish a capacity which is little more or close to 2 gigawatt, which will be at least annual consumption for data center cooling. So, and of course this will lower the carbon footprint, will try to reduce operational cost and build a sustainable future for the generations to come. And why we need cooling? Because the whole landscape with the new AI or the high density compute coming into picture is going to change, and we'll try to explain what the change means. So today all data centers, as we see, are cooled by HVACs, and which is largely the heat carrying medium is air, and air is supposed to be an insulator and not a heat carrying medium. But since the world did not feel the need for anything beyond air, so we continued with HVACs. But with the power density increasing, we will need something which can really take that heat density out to the environment. And what better than water? So we are now in a changing landscape where coolant water will replace air, and since they are 1,000 times more in density, they will take that much more heat, or rather a little over that, and cool the data centers. Also, the world is exploring warm water, so that if you can run the chips a little higher, then the need for energy drastically reduces, because there's no need to run compressors and chill the water. So if you are able to run close to ambient, then we are actually building a very sustainable future. In terms of technologies that do this or that enable this, so the very basic and the first one we'll talk about is what is called rear door heat exchanger. Rear door because this sits on the backside of the rack. Essentially, in simple language, radiator fan. All you are doing is cool the hot air from the server and release a little cooler air and reduce the load for the aircon, which is the rear door heat exchanger. When we talk, essentially this also is called liquid, but essentially liquid starts when you get into direct to chip liquid. So the way it will have a plate that sit on top of the chip, we are circulating a coolant in that plate, and there will be this liquid will go to a unit called a cooling distribution unit, or a CDU, in one loop, and the chilled water or the chiller water from outside will come and take that heat to the environment. This is the DCLC. The next generation where I think world is also experimenting and debating is called liquid immersion cooling, where you put the entire server into a dielectric oil. In very simple language, very similar to what you see as a transformer oil. The only difference probably is transformer oil has a lot of wax, and this is a very refined form of that. So you dip the server, liquid is not going to conduct, and you keep this liquid cool with a CDU similar to how you do a plate cooling. So this is the technology of also being explored or experimented. So these are the three technologies that the world is exploring, and with your blessings we intend to work in all three of them. Now I would invite my friend Chaitanya to at least give us some market perspective about what does this mean commercially.
Thank you, Shailesh, and good afternoon. Now we saw what kind of a cooling technologies which are available now, but let's come to a point where why this exists. Okay, let's come to the application which demands the liquid cooling solutions, which is what KühlTherm is developing. Now, if you look at globally, the data center market is booming, and just we know the reasons. We have a AI which is coming into picture. We have a lot of digitalization which is happening, and we also have a lot of cloud and streaming which is happening across the globe. Now, if you just come to India side, India we have a very let's say compared to other markets a lower penetration of data centers. Today, if you look at from a numbers perspective, India generates 1/5 of data which is generated globally. But from a data center footprint perspective, our contribution is less than 2%. So we have a scope where we can have data centers getting built up in India to take care of the data which is generated within the country. And there are a lot of initiatives which are taken by government and a lot of other institutions, where we have a cloud migration which is happening rapidly. We also have a data localization which is also pushed by government, which is BFSI is also contributing. We also have a BFSI compliance which is coming into picture, where you need to have at least one copy of your data available within the country. You also have a lot of AI and GPU deployment, because India also is looking at a lot of generation next startups which needs access to these kind of GPUs, and they can also build their own product pipeline. Same time, we also have a 5G and edge computing, where we know that amount of data we use individually as well with respect to network. And last but not the least, the digital India, which is where we want to take the digitalization to every individual in the country, which is going to drive the complete demand. So on one side, we look at the data is going to be more and more generated. We will have getting data stored within the country, but same times we also need to look at the profile of this data. Because we are going to use a lot of AI application, we are going to use a lot of cloud computing, the profile of the load is going to change. We are going to talk about high density racks because we are talking about the high computing. This is where the next level of cooling which is needed. So I have just tried to put some of the data points on the screen, where today if you look at the operational capacity of our data centers in India, we have around 1.9 gigawatt of operational capacity already there. There are a lot of projects which are announced which are going to get built and commissioned in the coming years, but by 2030 we expect the same installed capacity to reach to 6.4 gigawatt. So just imagine the scale which we have to achieve in next 2 to 3 years. So it's a massive job which we together need to complete. From a rack density, so far we were looking at a rack density of, we started with a 3 kilowatt, we moved to 7 kilowatt, now we are talking about 15 kilowatt of racks, but soon because of the GPUs which are getting deployed, the same rack density is going to go to 100 plus. So just imagine the amount of cooling and the associated infrastructure what we are going to need to cool these racks. 7% of the spend which is going to happen on data center infrastructure is going to be needed for cooling. So it is a massive portion if you look at from an entire infrastructure spend perspective, and from a pure numbers perspective, that particular value is approximately $8 billion by FY30. So that is a cumulative spend which is going to happen on cooling infrastructure. So that is the opportunity is going to be available for each one of us who are present in this room. Now today if you look at from a liquid cooling perspective or from a manufacturing scale perspective or our readiness as far as the manufacturing is concerned, we are not fully ready. This is where a brand like KühlTherm or a startup like KühlTherm is going to play an important role, because we are going to have the entire stack getting manufactured within India, and this is where we can reduce the import which is happening today in the country, and which is where we are going to become more and more self-reliant. Now we saw the infrastructure part, which is in terms of the footprint. Now what impact it has got as far as the energy is concerned. Today if you look at the data center contribution in India in overall energy consumption is less, but it is going to be 4 times more than what we already have today, which is happening. The share of data center consumption in the overall energy consumption in India is only 0.8%. Now if you talk to a lot of developed countries in Europe as well as US, the contribution of DC is quite high. So which is where India is also going to scale up, and we will be around 3% of the total consumption. So the amount of infrastructure which is also required to be created is also going to be massive. The AI workloads which is going to contribute will reach to 6 gigawatt from current 300 megawatt scale. And most importantly today if you look at the average PUE, which is the effectiveness of the whole data center from an energy perspective, is around 1.7, it is going to reach to 1.25. So we have a massive deployment of liquid cooling which is going to get deployed, which is going to bring down the PUE, which is going to make all the data center more and more efficient. The moment we go to more and more immersion cooling, the same PUE is going to come down to 1.07 or 1.05 level. And on the chart which is there in this slide, we have a various types of technologies which are getting used based upon the rack density. So the moment we move from a higher towards the higher rack density, obviously the liquid cooling is going to be the solution, and which is where we will be achieving the better PUE, and the whole infrastructure is going to become more and more efficient. Next important component, the moment we talk about liquid cooling, is the water, because that is also today if you look at this is the topic which is in the news as well, which is where people are more concerned in terms of what is going to be the water consumption from a data center as an infrastructure. But the way we are going to scale up, since we are going to deploy the liquid cooling and the product like CDUs and immersion cooling, obviously the need of the water will not be scaling up the way the infrastructure is going to scale up. So we are going to have a lot of reuse of water, we will have a lot of secondary loops which are going to get created, and the amount of refilling would be getting reduced. This is where we also are going to look at, not only we are going to become more energy efficient, but also we are going to be efficient in terms of the usage of water as well. And this is where, as you can see, the consumption of water per kilowatt is going to be minimum the moment we move from air based to, let's say, liquid based cooling. So this gives us big opportunity for KühlTherm, and because we are going to have the higher and higher data center infrastructure and the capacity which is getting created.
His support.
No, thanks Shailesh and the KühlTherm team. I'm really honored to be here. like Shailesh said, just to say it in different words, I just happen to be the first investor in KühlTherm, and I'm sure a lot of other investors in this room will feel the same way after this. The task of unveiling this has been given to me, but if I can request Mrs. Bishnoi to shepherd some of the other family members who are here to do the honors here, that I think would be a better thing to do. So if you could come here and unveil this, please. You can ask some of the other spouses as well.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Sarangi, please. Stuti. Santosh.
Yeah. Come and see what your husbands have been doing.
Please come. Don't feel shy.
Yeah, I think that's the key word.
This is the first time they've listened to me. Huh? Don't trust this.
These are the honors of seeing what all the folks have been.
Thank you everyone. Thank you Rahul.
Okay, so what you saw earlier, 8U of fan plus radiator combination, that was modular. It can be swapped, hot swapped. What we have done is we've gone ahead and made CDU in the same form factor. So there are two types of CDUs. That CDU one of the CDUs enables liquid immersion cooling, the other one enables direct to chip, the one with cold plates. So these are two types of CDUs. They will fit inside the same 8U form factor that you have for the fan radiator combination. Now this door means that you don't have to set up some extra infrastructure for your liquid immersion cooling and for your DCLCs, the cold plate technology. They will service heat exchange between the server and the facility through the door itself. So you don't have to have a separate rack, or you don't even have to set up tanks for dunking in your liquid immersion cooling. Now this is patented. Actually, most of our products are patented. The modular RDHX is patented. The RDHX with swappable different technologies, this is also patented. And apart from this, we also enable liquid immersion cooling by specific chassis that goes inside. So you don't have to make different tanks. You can have the same chassis, 2U chassis, in which we have hermetically sealed compartment where your compute sits and gets cooled by this CDU.